There's a party in my tummy. So yummy, so yummy. Hello everyone. Welcome to I don't know, I haven't decided what I'm gonna call this yet. I think it's gonna be Mind Map. Way too hard though. Okay, so welcome to my first episode of my podcast. It's actually just me talking to my it's actually just me talking to my 7-year-old tablet because my phone is dead. And also I have no storage space. Anyway, so I have a couple things to talk about today. First of all, Yo Gabba Gabba. Fire show. Yo Gabba Gabba, hard. It goes so hard. The songs, tough. Favorite episode? I don't know because I've only ever seen 2 on my Elite pad when I was little. But the 2 episodes that I saw, actually I think it was 3. I don't really remember, but I saw the one where they talk about food, which is where Party in My Tummy comes from. It's my favorite song. And then we have the Tooth Fairy episode. And then there's a third one, but I don't remember what the third one is. Anyway, okay, I had other stuff to talk about, but I don't remember. Let me pause. Okay, so, before I continue, take some of my banana spray. Okay, so, anyway, so, first thing we're gonna be talking about today is, why is everything so boring now? Like, why is everything so boring now? Because, like, I'll put, when I'm, when I'm editing this, which feels weird to say, I'll put, like, pictures on the screen of, like, there's, like, old McDonald's. They're so much cooler. Like, everything is so boring. The way that, like, the old Hot Topic looked in malls, so much cooler. The way that, like, everything looked in any other era except this one was so much cooler. Even the fashion dude. Like, me and my grandma, okay, so we were in Wisconsin Dells. Me and my grandma, we went to this store called something like Totally 80s, I think. And it's basically like this whole experience where you go to an area, you get all dressed up in your 80s fit. There's makeup. They have Aquanet hairspray, which I actually do on my shelf over there. I have Aquanet hairspray because my other grandma gave it to me because she didn't want it. And so you have Aquanet hairspray, you got makeup, and you get clothes, and you can dress up however you want, and you can do as many outfit changes as you want. Me and my grandma did not do a single one because we were having so much fun. And then you go into this area, right? And then it's like all of these just rooms and like setups and whatnot. Excuse me while I scratch my butt. And it's this area, and it's just all these rooms and whatnot, and it's so cool and funky. I'll put photos. Here's some photos. Okay, there's my photos. I don't know how long I was supposed to pause for. But yeah, everything is just so, like, lame now. Even, like, music, bro. Like, music, okay, music is still fire, mind you. Mind you, what am I talking about? Anyway, music is still so fire, but it's like, the music from the past, blast from the past, it was just so fun. I don't know if I can put this higher. No, I can't. Cool. I'm gonna light my candle. It smells so good. Do you want that to smell? Thanks. I realized after I did that you wouldn't be able to smell it. This is warm black. Oh, it's the color of the outside. Okay. This is warm leathered amber from, I don't remember what brand. I'm scared I'm gonna burn myself, even though I'm literally using one of them safe lighters. Okay, my candle's lit now. We get some nice lighting, even though you're not gonna be able to see a difference, probably. Put that over there. Okay. What was I talking about? I don't know. Okay, so what did I do today? Let me stop saying bro. Anyway, I went to the gas station. I walked out my room. I had my Toad and Frog t-shirt on and my SpongeBob shorts, and I was gonna wear my Gary hat, but I didn't because I had my headphones on. but I went to the gas station. I walked out my room and I looked at my sister, my older sister, and I said, "Hello, I want to go to the gas station to get a Monster so I can clean my room." Haven't done a single thing. It was much worse because I got a new bed, I got a new couch, I got my new desk, which is actually what you're on right now. You're welcome. And I'm getting lots of new shelves and whatnot. But so I had to put all my belongings into boxes, and I had to clean it out. Anyway, point is, moral of the story. So I had to go to, wait, what? Okay, so I wanted to go get a Monster, and I walked out, and I said, "Hey, sister, I'm gonna go get a Monster." And she said, "Am I allowed to let you?" And I said, "Probably." And then I left on my bike that my friend, that I kind of stole, but I didn't actually steal it. I just took it to my house, and it's not my bike, with permission. Anyway, so I took that, and I went to the gas station. I got me a ultra peachy keen, or whatever, Monster. Dude, that junk is so fire. I took a long sip of that. I was at the gas station for like an hour and a half. Because I was sitting here reading my book, hour and a half. My friend called me. "Hey, Maddie, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm at the gas station." Oh. I said, "I'm at the gas station. I'm reading my book, and I'm drinking my Monster." He said, "Okay, cool, I'm just really bored." And I said, "Okay." And then he talked about Green Day, because he really likes Green Day. And I said, "What's your favorite album?" We were talking for a little bit. And I was just having the time of my life. I was reading my book, and I was flipping my pages, and it was so fire. I was there for, like I already said, an hour and a half. Also, this girl walked by. She was so pretty. Like, she was actually beautiful. She was like probably about 5'8". She was wearing like this really nice red dress, but it was like a longer sleeve dress, and it was a very simple dress, but it was so gorgeous, and it looked really good on her. And she had like this big, not huge, but like big afro, and I was on the phone with my friend while I told her, but I said, "I love your hair so much. It's so pretty." And she didn't hear me after. Well, she did hear me, but she didn't think I was talking to her. So she kept walking, and then she turned around, and then she said, and I pointed at her, which felt a little weird afterwards, because she realized I was talking to her at that point. And I pointed to her, and she said, "Thank you. Thank you so much." And then she walked on. I was like, "Oh, you're so pretty. Aw." And then the cashier, too. She came out for a smoke break. Real. Not actually. Anyway, she came out for a smoke break, and she had like these. Let me get cozy. And she had these French nails. I can't put it up any higher. And she had these French. Wait, what's it called? French tips? Yeah, French tips. And the white part, the part that's normally white, it was orange, like a bright orange. And she was like an older woman, and she had her cigarette in her hand. She was walking by. She saw me. I said, when I cashed out, I said, "Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day." And she said, "You too." So she liked me, I think. And she walked to her car, and then she walked back. She smiled at me, and I got up from the bench I was sitting on, and I said, because that was when I was done with my Monster, and I said, I forgot to tell you this when I was buying my Monster, but I really, really love your nails." And she said, "Oh my God, thank you so much." And then I was like, "Yeah, I think that orange suits you really well. It looks really nice on you, and I like them a lot." And she said, "Aw, thank you so much." And I was like, "Yeah." I felt really good after that, because she was like really. I think she was happy that I complimented her nails. Which reminds me, the other day I was shopping with my other grandma from here, because my grandma on my dad's side is far away, but that's the one that I went to the 80s store with. And then the one from here, I was shopping with her, and we oh yeah, and we were at Target, and I saw this woman. Oh, she was pretty. She was like, once again, she was an older woman, and she had like this short haircut, and it was like real textured, but it was like straight. It was like textured, and it like went across her face and across her like eyebrows, and it was like pretty short, like kind of like a little shorter than mine, just tiny bit, like a hair shorter than mine. No pun intended. And I told her, she walked by and I said, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, because I was in her way. And then I looked back and I was like, your hair looks so good. That haircut suits you really well. That looks really nice. And she said, oh my God, thank you. We had like a whole mini conversation. And she said that she was thinking of calling her barber and saying, or her hairstylist, and saying, that she thought that it was cut too short because she didn't like it that much. So she was like, I really needed to hear that today. She was such a sweet woman. And she said, I really did need to hear that today. Thank you so much for telling me that. And I was like, of course. And then I walked away from her. And then I walked up to my grandma over here, and I was like, this is what I got. And then the same woman came over, or no, I was talking to my grandma, and she said something about, like, I'm not wearing a bra for the rest of my life. My husband died, because my grandpa did pass away in February, and she has not been handling it very well. Obviously, not to say that it's, like, not normal, because grief is insane. That's, like, the hardest human experience ever, and, like, we have no way to cope with it other than to just live. But so she said that, and then that other woman that I complimented earlier, she was like, that she laughed at it, and she was like, that's so, like, she said, like, that's funny, or something like that. And then she was like, she walked up to her, like, because they had said something, I don't remember. My memory's horrible. And she walked up to her and was like, I don't mean to get all personal, but when did your husband pass away? And then she said, mine just passed away. My grandma said that mine just passed away in February. And then she was like, yeah, it's been about a year since my husband passed. And they were just talking about it in, like, grief group. And they were like, yeah, I just feel like I went to a grief group, like, for widows. And I was just, like, the youngest person there. And, like, this woman was probably, like, 50s. Like, mid-50s is my assumption. And she was like, yeah, I was the youngest person there. And it just didn't feel right. And I was like, I felt so bad. I felt so bad. And this is my banana. And she noticed me standing next to my grandma, and she said, is this your daughter? She's so sweet. And my grandma was like, no, this is my granddaughter, but yes, she is. And she said, oh, you guys have such a nice family. And I was like, oh. So yeah, that's the end of my story. I want more banana spray. Okay, that's my nana spray. That reminds me of when my friend, we were playing Roblox. We were playing this game called Boo, and it's like Poo, but it's knockoff, and it's like scary. It was not scary at all. And we were playing it, and one of the things was that we had to feed him, and we and there was like a fridge in it, but like he was really sensitive to touch, like the Boo, and when you like walked up to him, it hit him and he would go flying. Like he would, like I could tap him with my left big toe, and just a little touch, like Adam's touching, even though I know they never touch. Whatever, coming into contact, I don't care. They very sensitive. So my friend grabbed a banana and he was trying to feed it to the dude. And he walked up to him. He kept running away. Like the boo kept running away. And he said, "Where are you going? I'm trying to feed you this nanner. Stop running away. I'm trying to feed you this nanner." And it was so funny. It wasn't even funny. It was just like, bro, what are you talking about? So yeah, that's my story. Speaking of stories, that was a horrible segue. I didn't have anything to say that related to stories besides the story of my life. Okay. So lights locking. Oh, why is it so green still? I literally dyed my hair like forever ago. And Arctic Fox, in my personal experience, you color your hair with it, and the color works. And then it fades within like 3 washes, noticeably. And then it doesn't leave your hair fully for a million years. You want to get Arctic Fox hair dye out of your hair? Bleach it. And no, I don't mean hair bleach. I mean bleach. Grab that bottle of bleach, pour it on your hair, Don't actually do that. That's really not safe. My mom did that because she tried to do hair remover one time and she got really mad. She got really frustrated. So she just took a bottle of bleach and put it on her hair, and then her hair turned into string, and then she shaved it. Okay, so the main point I wanted to talk about today was like, can we please be nicer to ourselves? Because the reason the world is such a cruel place is because no one is nice to themselves. And if we were nicer to ourselves, if we stopped judging ourselves, we subconsciously stop judging other people. Because what we tell ourselves, we build our own complex in our minds, and we build a rule book in our minds about what you can and cannot do, and what you should and should not look like, how you should live and how you should not live. And when we apply it to ourselves, we also apply it to everyone around us. So when we judge ourselves, we're also subconsciously judging other people, and it makes us such hate-ridden beings. So bad. Hatred is born from your mind, from your thoughts about yourself. Hatred comes from how you feel about yourself. If you don't like yourself, you're not going to be the biggest fan about other people. If you think you're fat, you're going to subconsciously judge other people who are fat. If you think you're ugly, you're going to look around and be like, oh, that person's really ugly. But if you think you're beautiful, you're going to look around and be like, oh my god, everyone around me is so beautiful. Hot take. Maybe we should be nicer to ourselves so we can be nicer to other people too. I forgot to say this while I was recording. This is post-mer editing. But this is like, what I meant is basically like the way you think about you. So people have a tendency to think that everyone is the same. Like, people will think that the way they think is also how everyone else thinks. So if you think kind things about yourself, then you will also think kind things about other people, because like the human brain just finds that people are the same, even though like you can know that they're not. But if you think kind things about yourself, then you will think subconsciously kind things about other people, and vice versa. That would be awesome. Also, why do we hate like everyone? I don't think, actually, like for real, I don't think that anything. Why is it not focusing on my pin? I know you can read it, but it's making me mad. Focus, bro. I can't zoom in, bruh. Is it focused? Okay. Anyway, I think that besides, like being a butthole and give me a second, I have to burp. Okay, anyway, I think that opinions are not wrong and they're not right, which like, okay, Captain Obvious, tell me more. But it's like, because your opinions are formulated from the minute you're born, like from everything around you. So people who think that people who are different from them are weird because they're different, they're not wrong to themselves. Like, subjectively, that's not a good opinion, which the concept of good and bad opinions is also subjective. But like, oh, objectively, someone thinking someone else is like weird or strange because they're different from them is not a bad opinion to the person who thinks that. So if I thought that someone else was weird, then was weird because they had long hair, I wouldn't necessarily be wrong for thinking that, even though it's not objectively a correct opinion. Because if I live my life surrounded by people with short hair and I'm constantly taught that short hair is what's right and long hair is what's wrong, and I build a rule book in my mind without knowing it. I plant seeds in my brain and let them fester and grow that having long hair is not the right thing to do, and it's weird if you have long hair and it's not like normal. So if I live my life like that and then I go out into the street one day and I see someone with hair down to their butt crack, I'm gonna be like, whoa, that person's hair is so weird because it's not like anything I've ever seen before, and my life has conditioned me to believe that long hair is weird. So to myself, to me, the person who thinks that, it's not a bad opinion. It's not a weird opinion to myself, but objectively it is. Because like, what do you mean the hair length makes you weird? That doesn't make much sense. But to people who think that, like, to people who believe that people who are different from them are not correct, there's a reason they think that way, and it's likely been embedded in them since they were a child, which is why they think that way. It's these thoughts, like this hatred, it doesn't come from ourselves. It comes from everyone else who taught us these things when we were little. And when you're a kid, that is when the formulation of your rule book begins, because you're taught these rules even though the people teaching you them, the teachers, they don't realize that they're teaching you these rules, but they are subconsciously. And when you think about it, that's why people are homophobic. That's why people are brought up with people brought up with religion typically stay with it. That's why people are racist, and that's why people are objectively bad people. Because to themselves, they're not a bad person. Like, okay, don't take this out of context, by the way, what I'm about to say, please, because the context is needed. Hitler, he did not see himself as a bad person, obviously, because it was Hitler, but he thought that what he was doing, killing millions and millions of people, he thought that what he was doing was building a better world for his children. Now, if you think about anyone who's like, oh yeah, I want to build a better world for my children, they're like, oh yeah, that's sweet, that's a good thing to do. But the way he went about it, it seemed right to him. Obviously, it was objectively bad, but subjectively, he thought it was the right thing to do because he thought that these other people were evil and that they were going to try to make his kids evil because everyone around him did not like him. And he thought that the same thing was going to happen to his kids. So when he got rejected from art school and his father was constantly on him about how he was a disappointment and a failure and he regretted having him and whatnot, he believed that the reason for his father's hatred towards him was because of all these other people in the world. So he wanted to get rid of them. He wanted to get rid of them so he could build a safer place in his mind for his kids. But what he did was so wrong. His thought process, it would make sense if he didn't kill that many people, and if his version of making the world a better place was not murdering millions and millions of people. His mental health was so bad, which, like, obviously he killed himself, but his mental health was so bad, he just hated everyone around him, and he really just wanted his kids to not have a life like he did. So he killed so many people. He killed so many people because he really thought that was the right thing to do. So subjectively, he thought he was a good person because he was doing what he thought was right. Obviously was not right. But when people do bad things, often they think it's because it's the right thing. And if they don't think it's the right thing, then they think that there is a correct reason for doing it. But he thought that what he was doing was right. And obviously it was not. Which, okay, side note, I need to find my stretching kit because I want to size up. Because right now I'm at like, I think a 6. I want to go to a 4. Okay, so I think that is going to be the end. To wrap it up, we're going to... I don't really know what else to talk about because I feel like I've broken record just repeating everything I just said. But, I gotta figure out a way to end this. That's not just like, bye. Oh, I know the perfect way to end it. Okay, guys. Wait, I hope this isn't hot. Okay, it's not that hot. Thank you if you watched to the end, first of all, thank you for doing that, because this is a kind of a long video, at least for me, even though I know that there's longer ones. But, this is kind of a long video. If you liked it, please tell me, because that'll give me motivation to make more videos like this if you want to see that. So don't just keep it to yourself, because spread kindness and then kindness will come back to you. So if you did like my video, thank you for telling me, hopefully. Cross my fingers, cross my toes too. So if you like my video, once again, let me know so I can make more and be like, people want to see this. Yeah, moral of the story, be kind to the people around you because you don't know what they're going through. Be true to your word. Do not hate yourself, because you will start to hate other people, and hating other people is not going to do good for you, because other people hating you is objectively not a good thing for you. It's not going to benefit you in any way. So yeah, moral of the story, be a good person. Thank you. Muradog out. Bye bye.